Hi, and thanks for joining us. This is Industry Insights. My name is Mike, and this is part of the REMI Network. We're on location right now at the Condo Conference 2023, the Congress Center in Toronto. We're happy that you'll join us. By the way, this is a series of interviews with people across the industry, a wide array of experts that have a lot to talk about. And I'll recommend that you subscribe to the series so that you can keep up to date and maybe even hit the notification button if you're watching on YouTube. And we'll let you know every time we have a new interview. Today is no exception. We have an expert at the table. Mark Cohen joins us from Jermark. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
How's the show going for you?
The show's been great. Actually, the show this year is the best I've seen in many years.
It's just nice to have everybody back together under one roof, communicating.
Most definitely. Seeing all our old friends.
Listen, I'm glad you're here. There's a few things I can ask you that might be helpful to the management and property ownership, certainly the condo boards out there. Your expertise is in the plumbing field.
Correct.
How many years have you been doing that, by the way?
Since 1982.
Okay, so this is, I told you, we get the experts, people with some experience here. We had an interesting conversation a few minutes ago I wanted to share.
Perfect.
As the buildings begin to age, as you start to plan forward, what are some of the indicators that property managers and condo boards are going to see coming up that indicate they might need to look into their plumbing situation overall?
So we're finding a lot now in some of the newer buildings with the PEX piping. The risers are failing prematurely. They're causing leaks, some of them catastrophic. And we're finding a lot of the older buildings with their copper piping is starting to fail also. Right now it's at an express rate due to COVID, which shut everything down for years and was ignored and just patched. So we're finding now the industry is very busy with trying to catch up from COVID.
Yeah.
The maintenance costs to just do these repairs, and it's not just the repairs, it's the damages from the leaks is really escalating.
Well, it's interesting that if you start spotting these leaks, yeah, it's nerve-wracking, but better to start dealing with it at that moment. It's starting, and take it as an indicator, because what can happen as a result can be catastrophic overall.
Most definitely.
What are some of the indicators that we really do need as a property manager? What are we noticing that would sort of indicate we need to get an engineer in there?
I always recommend to the property managers, if you start seeing you're having 4 or 5 leaks in a 3-month, 4-month period, 5-month period, and they're causing damage, consult your engineer. Get in one of the bigger engineering firms that have been around for many, many years and get them to do a study for you. Even if your reserve fund says you don't need to repipe your building for another 20 years, if you're getting these leaks, you need to deal with it because insurance companies are cutting you off from having floods, or they're increasing your deductible to $150,000, $200,000, $300,000.
Well, the best laid plans, right? I mean, you might have a plan for your reserve fund, and certainly I think a lot of reserve funds are in trouble out there at the moment, but certainly with the interest rates the way they are and ownership the way that it is, but it's almost, it doesn't matter what your plan says, reacting properly is what saves money in the long run.
100%. Most definitely, you have to act on it, otherwise it ends up costing the corporation a lot more money in the end. And I've seen it cost $500,000 more to a corporation.
Let's talk about Jmark. You guys been around since the 80s, you said?
Yes.
And what was the entry point for you, and what changed over the years with your business?
I entered the business doing high-rise service. During my apprenticeship, that's what I learned. So I continued doing high-rise service. I grew a company. I got one of my employees that's been with me now 32 years.
Oh, that's great.
And he's my right-hand person. And we took up repiping buildings about 40 years ago. And we haven't stopped. We're the largest in-house building repipe company in Ontario. We do everything in-house. There's no subcontractors. We do the plumbing, the painting, the drywall, the tiling. Everything is done in-house. Any cabinetry work that has to be done, we do it all in-house. We're also the quickest in the city.
So you are really a one-stop shop. Okay, I need to repipe. By the way, repiping, I'm a layman. Repiping is something I'd never even heard of, and of course it makes perfect sense. Your pipes are not going to last forever, especially in high use, high density or multi-unit properties.
Correct.
There's a lot of strain going on your pipes ongoing. That's a wild niche to have gotten into in a city that is now starting to have high rises that are aging.
Right.
What's the future look like for you guys?
The future's bright. We can't keep up. We're booked out for the next 8 months at this point, with many tenders going in. The program that Jermark offers people for repiping buildings is second to none. Nobody else in this city offers that. We have a fellow, Chris Vachon, and he runs the whole crew for us. And he meets each and every resident a week before we enter their unit to make sure they know what we're doing, where we're going to be working, and relieving them of all the stress of us invading them.
That's fantastic. Having been a renter myself and a tenant in a condo scenario, there's a lot of mystery. You get notices in your mailbox, we're going to be doing this, we're going to be doing that. Rarely does somebody come and explain to you what the process is going to be.
Right. Right. Well, we found that this part of our niche, and even having resident meetings prior to the project starting, really helps the residents understand it and take away a lot of the stress from them, as I mentioned earlier, and it makes them feel a lot better about the project. And once they meet Chris and they see how calm and great of a guy he is, they're really happy.
Well, that's, I'll tell you, it's a great thing to be able to feel that way about the people that you work with. It's obviously made a difference in your business. Where can people find out more about Jmark?
They can go to www.jmark.ca, or they can feel free to call me at the office at any time.
Mark, it has been a pleasure. I appreciate you taking the time at this busy conference to be with us.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And you be back with us if you don't mind. We'll recommend that you stay with us, share this with a friend. Enjoy your day. Thanks, we'll see you next time.